My name is William Martinez. I'm a lending assistant, customer service representative for Happy State Bank. The most I love is working with people, and I think that we as a bank, we do that. You know, I think that's our culture. I think they go out and find those individuals that love to interact with individuals and love the conversation and love working and helping out and solving those problems that our customers can have. And I think that the culture, the helpfulness, I think that's what sets us apart.
Good afternoon. We're going to ask Commissioner Brian Eads to begin with a prayer.
You bow your head for me. Thank you, Father, for this wonderful opportunity we have to meet together and talk with the citizens of Amarillo and to be able to make decisions about the present and the future. Help us to be wise. Help us all to be kind, courteous, patient. Father, thank you for those who defend us, our police and our firefighters and our folks in the military throughout the city, the state, and country. Father, it looks like you're promising us some moisture this week. At least that's what the experts seem to say. We thank you for all that's come before. It'll come this week. It'll come after. In your Son's name, amen.
Would you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Amarillo City Commission held on the third floor of City Hall this Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. The first item of business on today's agenda is the minutes. Attached is a copy of the minutes. Minutes for approval are from the regularly held meeting of September 27th, 2011.
I move approval of the minutes of September 27th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the next item is a resolution, 2011 goals for City of Amarillo Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. This resolution approves the 2011 fiscal year changes to the city's existing Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. The city is required to adopt and participate in an annual DBE program since it accepts U.S. Department of Transportation grant funding. Is there any discussion about this resolution? Any discussion from the audience? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Excuse me.
Trina Fournier, 4427 South Hayden. I just had a few questions. What exactly does this program do? And we've had this before in previous years. We've done this as well. What, like last year, what things was that money used for? And I'm a little confused at why taking the Department of Transportation grant funding obligates. I'm sure there's a law, but I'm just wondering if you can offer any insight as to why taking the Department of Transportation money obligates us to help business.
This money is to protect our bus system. Without it, we wouldn't have a bus system. I think as far as the specifics, I don't know, Mr. City Manager, would you like to try and answer that, or would Vicki?
Sure, I'll try to pick up a few of those, and if need be, we can have Ms. Covey fill in the details. The federal transit money comes in and funds about 80% of the operating costs of Amarillo City Transit, and it funds, I believe, 50% of the capital cost of the system. As with most of the federal programs, and this one probably the biggest, still left this way, they establish goals for how those funds are to be spent when you're spending them with industry. They encourage you to the extent that's reasonable and feasible to spend those funds with the DBEs, the Disadvantaged Business Enterprises, the hubs, the historically underutilized businesses, the minority-owned business and the women-owned business, whole pile of different acronyms that go in. And it's where you look at the demographics of your community, especially your business community, and you divide that up on a ratio, and that then becomes your goal or your target for having those funds spent with those particular sectors of the industry. This money is primarily spent, of course, first on things like salaries and wages for the bus drivers, but secondly for fuel. It's one of our largest expenses, tires, and then sometimes third-party repairs that go into those systems.
All right.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? And so I'll entertain a motion.
Can I ask one question on that? Are there,
If you please come to the podium and state your name and address. Thank you.
Charlotte Tyler, 906 Crockett. I was wondering, following her question, what strings are attached? Are there strings attached to this besides just
Plenty.
taking this money?
Plenty of strings attached.
Plenty of the strings attached. There's no requirements for anything or
There's plenty of strings attached to that
Regulations.
money. I mean, what we do with it and how we deal with it is very prescribed, and we have to do certain things to be able to do it. Very specific things. If you'd like, after the meeting, I'm sure that one of the manager or someone could delineate this for you, but we're following the federal guidelines for spending that money.
Maybe those guidelines are online or something that
The guidelines are online. We'd be glad to get you a copy of the actual grant contracts that come through that have a lot of
I'm
that
just
in.
wondering what the strings were attached. You know, whenever you take money, there's always something
Sure.
that you have to do.
Absolutely, and we're glad though that money is there, and we're worried when we reach above 200,000 we'll lose that money. We know we will. So that's when I will really start to worry.
I think another important thing to point out is that this resolution comes to the City Commission after a 45-day public comment period. So public comment period started August 15th. So there's been a lot of...
I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
That's
Was it in
okay.
the paper too? It was in the newspaper, right?
Yes, to initiate the comment period.
And that would tell what the strings attached are to this whenever,
No,
no, it
I
would just
guess
be it's just a
I'm not-
comment period where you would.
the comment period is specifically for the resolution that's being considered today, not for the grant that actually provides the funding. What you're seeing here is one of what you're terming a string, and that being, in this case, the DBE, or the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program.
Okay.
And I don't know if strings is the proper word, but we follow the regulations, and certainly that, out of respect for what they said is the law, we do that. Okay? Thank you. So I'll entertain a motion if there's no other comments about number 2, resolution.
Yeah, Mayor, I move that we approve the goals for the city of Amarillo Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program.
A second.
Okay. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes with a 5-0 vote. 4-0 vote.
Yeah.
One missing. Appointments to boards and commissions. Appointments are needed to the following boards and commissions. Construction Advisory Appeal Board, 3-year term, being vacated by Van Dryden, who served on that board since 8/31/10. Do we have any nominations for this?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we replace Van Dryden with Mr. D. Barry Osborne, who also holds a master electrician license.
I'll second the motion.
Any comments from the commissioners about this appointment? Let me just tell you, there is a qualification for this to be a master electrician, and this person who is filling this position does have that certification. Any other comments? Not? All those in favor of this appointment?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes with a 4-0 vote. The consent agenda. It's recommended that the following items be approved, that the city manager be authorized to execute all documents necessary for each transaction. A, award of bus stop improvements phase 3. B, award of civic center auditorium sound system electrical upgrade. C, award of civic center auditorium lobby carpet replacement. D, acceptance of tuberculosis prevention and control grant. E, the acceptance of Texas Traffic Safety Grant. And F, the approval of firefighter fatigue uniform annual contract. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be removed by a commissioner for separate consideration? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 4-0 vote. This concludes the agenda items for the regularly scheduled meeting for the Amarillo City Commission. It is, however, customary at this time that we allow citizens of this community on matters pertaining to city policy, programs, and services to speak to the Commission, and the floor is now open for that comment. Is there anyone who would like to make a comment?
I have a few. Charlie Taylor, 906 Crockett. I do have a few questions, and I'll ask the questions since I just have 3 minutes, and I'll let y'all answer them after I've asked them. This is about Mr. Jihad Ali. Did anyone notify the FBI that one of their persons of interest was leaving the country? And I don't know if it needed to be, since he was just a person of interest. I'm not for sure on that, so you can correct me. And his apartment was just a block away or something here. Did you ever contact the manager of that apartment, or did she contact you whenever the check for July was bounced? When the check for the July grant was bounced? And he worked for the city, maybe 4 or 5 months, and it seems like he had awfully good benefits, $7,000 for 4 months employment. That's a lot of money. And where did you send his checks whenever he left? And one other question, this is off of that. As property owners, what are we allowed to do to or on our own property without the city's permission? Thank you.
On those first questions, other than the last one, I would tell you that it's not something we would comment from this body,
Okay.
and it would be referred to the city manager if you have any questions.
Okay.
With the last one, I think there's just so many plethora of things that you might be able to do on your property. I don't know that it's adequate to try and answer it at this point. Again, I'd be happy to have a meeting with you and discuss that further after the meeting. But there is such a list of things you can do with your private property. I don't know that I can properly answer it.
But without the city's permission, I mean, you know.
I still don't think that I could. I don't know if anybody else would like to get into that, but that's such a long list of things. I don't know that I could adequately answer it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
I'm Jimmy Presley Hammond, I live at 1514 South Pearson. Y'all's campaign for the water deal worked real good. And I was wondering if we could do something like that to get more people here, run a time slot. You say that you want the public to come, that'd be an excellent deal to do, is run some ads on TV like you done on the water, and that way people know that when the meetings are and everything, and maybe you could get more citizens in here, and that way you can get more feedback and brainstorm and get more ideas to better run the city.
Jimmy, I think that's a good comment. We'd love to have more people here. One of the reasons we're meeting tonight, and we stayed with that. The water deal, it's we don't want to cry wolf about too many things. That was sort of an emergency that we really wanted attention on. We want to keep that attention level up because we're already discussing what we would do next year in that there's talk of another drought. So it is a special, sort of a special venue. We had great participation from the media. We'd like to compliment them on what they did with the water. They gave a tremendous amount of public service with that. From Channel 7, we did all the ads free gratis to all the publications that were done, both in the newspapers and the Independent and the Globe News, the Independent, and all the channels, and Suddenlink all participated. Is that correct, Commissioner?
That's correct.
They did a very good job, but we really can't always do that with everything. But your comments, good, and hopefully some people are watching that will come next time. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Mr. Hammonds, I was rather hoping that one of these evening meetings, the mayor would wash his clothes by hand.
You bring the washboard, I'll bring my clothes.
That is so tempting.
I told somebody was teasing me about that, and I said I better not lose my sense of humor in this job. Thank you all very much. Any other comments? I'd like to recognize the young people who are in the back. Would any of you like to come up and comment? I appreciate you being at the meeting. Anyone who would like to come up? So much. We appreciate you being here. I hope you've learned something about city government. This was kind of a quiet meeting today, so we invite you to come back anytime and learn more about our city government. Thank you so much for being here. Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Carolyn Thornton, 1947 South Mars. And I just wanted to make a comment about the approval for our firefighters' uniforms. You know, in the news we hear so many cutbacks. It's just terrible. Everything is so negative. And it's just wonderful that our city is taking care of our firemen. It's just the comment I want to make.
Thank you very much. Very important to us, so thank you. A lot of that's just because of wear and tear. They're out there working every day and wear those uniforms out. It's really their fatigue uniform for day use.
They're taking good care of us.
Yeah, they darn sure take good care of us. Any other comments? If not, the meeting stands adjourned. Thank you very much for being here today.